Mr. Deputy Speaker, it's a pleasure to follow the Honourable Member for Ayr, Carrick and Cumnock. I have to say that before he spoke, he promised me that he would make me look good by speaking so powerfully, so poetically and so brilliantly. I have to say, you've already broken your first political promise. So thanks a bunch for that. It's a pleasure to follow you, and it's also a pleasure to follow my predecessor, Sir Edward Garnier. He was a brilliant constituency MP for 25 years. He is independent-minded and he is brave, but above all, he is just an exceptionally nice man. He will be missed on all sides of this House, and he will be massively missed in our constituency. It's an honour to represent the people of Harborough, Oadby and Wigston in this House, and I would like to thank them from the bottom of my heart for sending me here. There are 4 really striking things about my constituency. The first is the staggering amount of community and voluntary work. Whether it's local charities like Rainbows, Loros, Val or Vazel, whether it's the award-winning work of Market Harborough in bloom, which is visible all over the town and makes it beautiful, whether it's the strength of our local Army, Sea and Air cadets, with whom I celebrated Armed Forces Week just the other day, or whether it's community campaigns like the campaign to save the Children's Heart Unit at Glenfield Hospital, which I support. The strength of our civic life is incredibly visible from the briefest look at the Harborough Mail or the Leicester Mercury, or by tuning into our community radio station, Harborough FM. A huge number of people in my constituency dedicate themselves to improving the lot of their fellow citizens, and it is absolutely inspiring. The second striking thing about the constituency is the strong culture of enterprise. There are now nearly 4,500 businesses in the constituency, a quarter more than in 2010. There is simply nothing that the people in my constituency cannot do well. From making milk floats to jet engines, we have made everything. And Mr. Speaker, although we've heard speeches this evening about the invention of powered flight in Scotland, you'll be relieved to hear that we've never tried to combine both the jet engine and the milk float, because that would lead to some dangerous adventures, I think. My constituency is famous country for farming and food, and also famous for textiles. And in fact, one of its most famous family businesses, Symington's, actually managed to combine both of those things, because one brother made soups, which fattened us all up, and the other brother made corsets with which to constrain our bulging waistline. So you'll agree, Mr. Speaker, that is a very cunning business model. Given the culture of small business, given the have-it-a-go culture, and given that culture of enterprise in my constituency, I will work to make sure that important initiatives like the Midlands Engine and the new industrial strategy work for small business as well as big. The third really important thing about my constituency is the open and welcoming nature of the people. Perhaps it's because we've been plugged into the global economy ever since the Romans came and built the road which now forms the eastern boundary of the constituency. Mr. Speaker, I have to tell you that not all of that road is now passable by car due to several centuries of disgraceful underinvestment by the Vikings, Normans and Saxons. But nonetheless, Mr. Speaker, later on, the canals came and they put the constituency back on the map, and the fantastic staircase of locks at Foxton Locks is a testament to the time when it was the spaghetti junction on the M1 of its day. In more recent decades, the constituency has welcomed people from all over the world. Now, sometimes they have come with absolutely nothing but their clothes on their backs, particularly the Ugandan Asians who came and settled there when they were fleeing from Idi Amin. But wherever they've come from, often they have started brilliant businesses and powered our economy forwards. And in our constituency, we have very good relations between all the different communities, and I will work to keep it that way. The fourth and final thing, Mr. Speaker, and you will perhaps see this coming, is of course that my constituency is strikingly beautiful. From the well-kept gardens of Oadby, Wigston and Market Harborough to the gently rolling countryside, it is a lovely place to be. And I have to say that when we are walking near our home, with me, my wife Gemma, and our little daughter Florence, tramping through the tall buttercups and the nice pink clover flowers under the big Leicestershire skies, I have to say that is about as close as it gets to heaven, I have to say. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, my constituency is a place of beauty, it's a place of opportunity, and it's a place with a strong community. So I want to keep it that way, and to keep it beautiful, we've got to start by reforming our broken planning system. Now, we've made progress in recent years, and of course we must build more houses. But too often at the moment, our planning system only builds resentment. It puts development in the wrong places, it doesn't match new housing with the infrastructure that's needed, and councillors in the community simply have too little powers relative to developers. To extend opportunity, we've now got to focus on education. So I grew up in Huddersfield, I went to a comprehensive, I got to go to Oxford, and I've ended up in this house. And I want young people in my constituency to have the same chances that I've had. It simply cannot be right that school pupils in Harborough, Oadby and Wigston get so much less funding than children in identical circumstances in other areas. The new national funding formula will start to address this injustice, and I hope that the government will press on with it as soon as they possibly can. I also want to see the forthcoming review of funding for councils address the wider underfunding of Leicestershire. To make the most of our community spirit, we've got to make sure that everyone in it is included. We are an ageing society and one with more people living alone, so the problem of loneliness is a growing one. I would commend the work of the Joe Cox Commission on Loneliness and also the fantastic work being done by many community groups in my constituency to address loneliness, and I will get right behind them. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I am an optimist by nature. Yes, we are in a global economic race today, but we have better schools than we've ever had before, and we have a brilliant culture of enterprise in this country. Yes, we are an ageing society, but I believe that with more older people, with time to volunteer, actually we have the conditions today for a massive boom in our social and community life. So, Mr. Speaker, while this country faces some challenges, I, for one, believe that our best days still lie ahead. Yeah.